Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from the world's largest skating rink in Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up on today's episode, we're not experts on the topic, but we're going to talk about Scientology.
We're not experts on any topic.
Oh, Dan.
Let's be legit here. But we're gonna delve
We're gonna
into.
jump into some. What we are kind of experts on is sort of that whole like having a mind fuck of a religion
Yeah.
that you're a part of.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we're digging into that a little bit. But of course, we got all our normal stuff for you coming up.
Oh, there's nothing normal.
Well,
It's all a bunch of abnormal.
Well,
up in here,
okay.
up in her.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. We got I got a follow up.
Oh, do you?
To a story we did a little bit ago.
Really?
You remember the story that we did about women wearing pants to Mormon church?
Yeah. That
As a-
seems like a bad idea.
You don't approve?
I don't approve. I think they need to know their place, and I think they need to wear a dress
I think
or skirt. Skirt will work.
I think you've just described the majority opinion of the Mormon church.
Oh, really?
Well, not only the majority opinion. So the thing is that there's nothing in Mormonism that says you can't wear pants as a woman to church. They have no prohibition on pants.
In fact, Brigham, as we've commented before, Brigham Young actually designed a desert outfit for the women of the church that included wearing basically pants under a dress.
Under a dress, yeah.
Long bloomers of sorts. But anyways.
But but a bunch of women decided that they were going to wear pants, not as a protest as much as just a visibility of Mormon feminism sort of thing.
Yeah, just to say we're here.
But Mormon
women.
Mormon feminism in itself is kind of a protest. Just to be a Mormon and believe that women should get any more consideration than they get is a protest.
Right.
Well, so there's been some response to this whole pants thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Including, most recently, Elaine Dalton, who is the general president of the LDS Church's Young Women's Organization.
Oh, okay.
Young Women's is it's the teens and tweens.
Young Women's, it starts at 12.
Of the church.
Goes to 18.
Right.
Yeah.
And they, it's its own little organization.
Mm-hmm.
So this general president of the Young Women's, she said that basically this was in a devotional address at Brigham Young University. Devotional just meaning, I don't know, a talk.
Well, it was at BYU. Was it a campus-wide devotional? One of the big ones in the Marriott Center.
I think so.
And they televised them.
Yeah, I think
across
so.
the BYU campus.
And she addressed the young women of the church, and she said, quote, "Young women, you will be the ones who will provide the example of virtuous womanhood and motherhood. You will continue to be virtuous, lovely, praiseworthy, and of good report. You will also be the ones to provide an example of family life in a time when families are under attack.
Oh, that's so true.
Being redefined and disintegrating. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You will understand your roles and your responsibilities, and thus you will see no need to lobby for rights."
Oh,
Aren't they cute?
That's cute.
Oh,
that poor precious thing. Oh,
so yeah, she doesn't think that they need any more rights than they've already got. They've got the right to bear children.
Yeah.
What more do they need?
And arms. I don't.
That's more their husband's place.
Yeah. Well, I can see a little woman out in the prairie.
Sure, my wife shoots guns.
Yeah.
Not frequently. She's just been known to.
Really?
In fact, I don't think she and I have ever been shooting.
Oh.
We'll have to go out shooting sometime.
Oh, you need to.
I enjoy it. It's fun.
The couple that shoots together
survives the zombie apocalypse together or something.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
Well,
isn't
hey,
that cute?
that
How
is
they don't want the girls protesting.
Yeah.
Learn while you're young to know your place.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Do you know what else is cute?
What?
Legos.
Legos? Yeah.
Dan. Have you also cute Star Wars Legos, right? Love the Star Wars Legos.
Sure.
Apparently though, a group of Austrian Turks is up in arms about the Star Wars. It's what is it? Jabba's castle,
Jabba's palace.
Jabba's palace.
I already knew that. I didn't even have to look. I am a bit of a Star Wars nerd.
So apparently, the Jabba's palace bears a striking resemblance to the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul.
Really?
Yes, a former. Well, first it was built as a Christian basilica.
Okay.
Or basilica. I always say it with the. Yeah. Anyways,
It's not Italian. We're not in Italy.
I know. I just. Anyways, a Christian basilica, and then it was turned into a mosque, and then in the 1940s it was turned into a museum.
Okay.
So it's no longer a functioning mosque, but nonetheless, it's this huge, important Muslim symbol, right?
Yeah, but it was used to be Christian.
But before that, it was Christian.
Okay.
But whatever, what have you?
What's it called?
It's Hagia, the Hagia Sophia,
Okay.
And that's with an F.
Yeah.
And yeah, so anyways.
Oh, it does kind of look like Jabba's palace.
Well, anyways, this group of Austrian Turks has they've written letters. They are all super upset at Legos because they refer to Jabba the Hutt in this. So this is quote. This is from a statement from the organization's website. It says, quote, "The terrorist Jabba the Hutt likes to smoke a hookah and have his victims killed. It is clear that the ugly figure of Jabba and the whole scene smacks of racial prejudice and vulgar insinuations against Asians and Orientals as people with deceitful and criminal personalities."
Wow.
Yeah.
No, don't they realize that Jabba's palace is from before the racist character era of Star Wars?
Yeah.
That's all the prequels.
Well, it's a long time ago in a galaxy far. It has nothing to do with Islam.
No, obviously no, and Jabba clearly, actually, I don't think you could make an argument that Jabba's
He's a
actually
slug.
a reference to anything.
Yeah.
I think
I always saw him as a symbol of like he was just like a businessman, right?
Yeah,
he was like a ultimate free market capitalist in my mind.
Well, no, if anything, he's a mafioso.
Oh,
They call him a gangster throughout the films.
do they?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
he's a mafioso.
Oh, okay.
He's Italian. I don't know what they're bugging about.
Anyways,
The other thing is that if you look at the prequels, I think cases could be made for actual references to different races.
oh yeah.
In the first one, there's the junk yard owner who's like flying around, but he definitely seems like he's like some reference to
Lebanese.
Yeah.
I don't know why Lebanese.
And
Sorry,
then there's the people at the beginning who feel very Asian. Anyway, it all smacks. And then there's Jar Jar going Misa Yusa. And,
yeah, that one obviously.
yeah. So, but Jabba, come on, Turks.
Yeah. No, but seriously
Austro-Turks.
though, I have to say, now Lego's official response back. This is Catherine Sass. I'm assuming is how you say her last name. She's a public relations manager working on behalf of Lego. She, of course, denied any link between Jabba's palace and the mosque. The Lego Star Wars product, Jabba's palace, does not reflect any actually existing buildings, people, or the mentioned mosque, she says. The Lego minifigures are all modeled on characters from the movie. Right. We regret that the product has caused the members of the Turkish cultural community to come to a wrong interpretation, but point out that when designing the product, only the fictional content of the Star Wars saga were referred to.
I think it's interesting.
So Lego's saying if it has that, then it was George Lucas.
Right, yeah. Which they should be saying.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. What I didn't realize, I was looking at the Turkish building, and sort of it did call to mind Jabba's palace. Now I've looked up the actual Lego thing. The one thing that I thought Jabba's palace, or that I thought the Hagia Sophia had that Jabba's palace didn't have, was these minarets. It has tall minarets on four corners. Well, it looks like the Lego thing does have a tower.
It does have a tower. They said that tower specifically looks like a tower in Beirut.
Huh.
And so they feel that it's been that specifically, I assume some art designer, some art director, or whatever, on the Star Wars films had looked to Islam, the Islamic world and Islamic architecture, even though the Hagia Sophia is Christian. It's Byzantine architecture.
Right. I'm guessing the minarets were added on.
The minarets were added
when it came up.
It was also stripped of ornamentation, obviously.
Oh, okay.
A lot of what was originally there was destroyed or covered up. I think they've done a lot of, if I remember correctly, they've removed a lot of the materials that were used to cover. So a lot of mosaics and whatnot were actually still there beneath it.
That's nice.
And yeah, they've done a lot of restoration on it to celebrate, this amazing piece of, architecture.
History. It's historical.
Yeah. I mean, it's
much like Jabba's palace, which has a historical.
Sure.
It's from a long time ago.
The 70s?
And a galaxy far, far away.
Los Angeles?
Correct. Okay, well, I want to talk to you about a clergy sex abuse scandal.
Oh, these happen.
They happen a lot.
Yeah.
This one, and normally I wouldn't even bother to report on it because it's so commonplace.
Mm-hmm.
This one has a couple twists that I wanted to bring up. The first twist is that it's Jewish. You just don't hear about that very much.
Okay.
I don't know if he's technically clergy. I should be careful about that.
Who is he?
His name is Nehemiah Weberman or Weberman or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is part of the deal. But he's...
I like that you tried, though.
Yeah, sure. I'll give it a shot. He's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Ultra-Orthodox.
Okay.
And he is an unlicensed therapist.
Oh. Okay.
Because apparently they don't believe in therapy.
Okay.
Or at least not licensed therapy.
Their problem is with licensed therapists. If there's some kind of state board that approved you being a therapist, I'm sorry, we cannot participate.
Here's the thing. So yeah, people are trusting this guy, and they sent their 12-year-old daughter to him, and he apparently abused her for years.
Wow.
He's now been convicted and sentenced to the maximum, almost the maximum sentence he could possibly get.
Really?
And this is on multiple counts.
Okay.
He's been convicted. So his sentence is 103 years in jail.
Wow. Good luck.
Yeah, he's not getting out of jail ever. But gosh, here's the thing. This is, again, the reason I bring this up is because what we're talking about here is the harm that is done when you trust your religion more than and you keep out societal protections.
Yeah.
When you keep it within the religion and trust that God's going to help you.
Yeah.
And apparently he claimed that what he was doing was to he told her that what he was doing was to, I don't know, where was it?
Some kind of, was it supposed to be some kind of therapy that he was doing?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't think that the sex abuse was actually part of the therapy, but he claimed that the therapy that he was giving her was to get her, secular thoughts out of her head and bring her into the religion and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, good job. I'm sure you've inspired her to keep up her religious practices. I wonder if she'll stay in the religion. That's an interesting question. But yeah, I mean, it's just when people say, "What's the harm in religion?" I think.
Well, I mean, is that fair to say? I mean,
I'm saying this is not guaranteed to happen, but
Right.
it's one of the possibilities. It's one of the things that happens when something when there's the cover of religion, when you
trust your religious authority more than your state authority,
and when a religion hides behind itself,
and not even necessarily state authority, but when you
it's
tried
about-
and true, sort of tested.
right, and it's not like
Systems.
secular therapists haven't done this,
Oh, yeah, sure.
but there are
Plenty of power corrupts a lot of times.
right, but I mean, how likely is it? It seems likely to me that this girl might have been more willing to talk to her parents about it, might have been more willing to go to someone else about the abuse if she didn't think that it was somehow God approved, or if he probably used God as a way of and this is just me speculating. This is entirely speculation. I need to be clear about that. But I'm guessing he said, you can't tell anybody I'm religious. You know what I mean?
Shh, don't tell anyone. I'm religious. It's okay. Don't worry.
I'm going to guess that those weren't his exact words. I'm just going to... I think we understand what I'm saying.
I'm picking up on what you're saying.
Anyway.
That it'd be very easy for somebody in that position to use their religious position.
Right. To silence their victim.
To create a sense of greater authority than a therapist necessarily normally would have.
God is on my side, so don't tell anybody or God will be angry at you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God's a pretty powerful tool.
Yeah. You just said God's a tool.
And I meant it.
Well, Dan, I think you'll be glad to hear that we live in neither. Well, actually, you'll be glad to hear that we do not live in the most Bible-minded city.
No, we live in the most. Well, our city is actually probably more secular than the rest of Utah. But Utah's very Book of Mormon minded and less Bible minded.
Yeah. Anyways,
but I'm guessing you're going to tell me more about Bible-minded cities.
The California-based Barna Group, together with the American Bible Society, have decided somehow that Knoxville, Tennessee, is America's most Bible-minded city.
Oh,
at least based on regular Bible reading and belief in the accuracy of the good book.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have Knoxville. Do you want to guess some of the other cities that are on the list? I love doing this when we have lists.
Are these cities of a certain size?
You wouldn't guess any of these. Would you guess Shreveport, Louisiana is number 2? Or that Chattanooga, Tennessee is number 3?
I would know that they would have to be medium-sized cities. They can't be full-on huge metropolitan areas.
Do you want to guess number 4?
Mobile.
Not far off. Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
After that?
Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Hey, Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, so far you're good for states. Next one?
It's Plains, Georgia.
No, Springfield, Missouri.
Oh.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Roanoke, Lynchburg, Virginia. Followed by Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
And then Charleston, West Virginia.
Oh.
Those are the most Bible-minded. And then the least Bible-minded, which I have to say Salt Lake should have shown up on this list.
No. Salt Lake is pretty Bible-minded. I would imagine that
We don't read our Bibles.
Well,
Mormons don't read the Bible.
They're supposed to.
Maybe. Every 4th year they read the Bible. right? Because
Sure.
they focus. They have their four sacred books, and every
Right,
year they focus
right.
on a different.
Well,
one.
except that
they
there's
do
2
Old
years.
Testament and then
and
they
then
do
New
New Testament. That's
right.
Anyways, the least Bible-minded city. I already said that, right?
Seattle.
No, Providence, Rhode Island,
Ah,
followed by Albany, New York,
okay.
Burlington, Vermont,
Ah,
Portland, Maine, Hartford, New Haven, Connecticut, Boston, Massachusetts.
that whole area is
San
just
Francisco's number 7.
evil. That whole northeast area is just evil.
Oh, they're godless.
And of course, San Francisco.
Yeah. And then number 8 is Phoenix.
What?
Yeah, Phoenix.
Huh.
They don't read their Bible because they're always driving their car. That's why they don't read very much. Number 9, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Number 10, Buffalo, New York.
Huh.
Yeah.
It is interesting that no major market cities
Shut up on either.
showed up on either list.
Yeah. What does that say about America?
It
And our
says
Bible reading.
It says our major urban areas are good mixes. It's a good mix.
That's interesting.
Everybody,
Yeah.
it's a moderate thing.
I don't know that I have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But anyways, I always find it interesting. I love lists.
You do love lists.
I love lists. I always read. I always flip through. Huffington Post always gets me. I will click through all the photos, and I know all I'm doing is just giving them clicks.
Right.
I'm sitting there. I'm clicking. I'm like, oh, look at that. I didn't know that either. Really?
I was clicking through a list.
Cupcakes are America's favorite treat.
I was clicking through a list of child stars then and now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it got and a list of Bond
That's a good
girls.
one, actually.
Bond girls then and now.
Oh, that's a good one.
Except that then they started to do like the most recent Bond girls, the ones from like Quantum of Solace. I'm like, yeah, she looks the same. It was 6 years ago. Why is she on there? Like Halle Berry. We know what Halle Berry looks like.
Yeah. We haven't really lost tabs on her.
Right. Yeah. But the older ones were very interesting.
Were there any that had like really not aged well? You'd be like, really? She was a Bond girl?
Yeah. Well, there were a couple that weren't that good looking back when they were Bond girls.
Oh, really?
There were a couple that you're just like, really?
Huh.
Is it just tastes have changed? Because I don't see it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Was Karen Black ever a Bond girl?
I don't think so. Who was it that was a Bond girl that I hadn't realized had been a Bond girl? Oh, I can't think of it. Anyway. Anyway, I got a nice little... A tantalizing little irony that was sent to me by somebody on the Facebooks. It's to do with a woman who was 7 months pregnant with twin boys and felt sick and went to the hospital. And she was not doing well at all. Medical staff tried to resuscitate her, but as became clear only later, a main artery feeding her lungs was clogged, and the clog led to a massive heart attack.
Oh, my God.
Her obstetrician also happened to be the obstetrician on call for emergencies that night, but didn't answer a page.
Oh, God.
So she died, and her twins died.
Oh, my God.
So,
okay, so...
this kind of thing happens every day.
Yeah.
What makes this special is that in the wrongful death suit filed by her husband, the hospital, which is run by the Catholic Health Initiatives, is claiming that he can only file wrongful death on her behalf and not for the unborn twins.
Okay.
Because they're not people yet.
The Catholics are claiming this? Or at least their lawyers are.
Yep.
Whoa.
Ain't that something?
Huh. So
they effectively, yeah. I mean, that's the
gist of it.
That's the gist of it.
Wow, that's fascinating.
They've so far won decisions from the Catholics have won decisions from the county district court judge.
That's what. Why would they be doing that besides saving a lot of money?
It's the money thing. Of course, they want to save money. They could be out millions.
But they're going to set legal precedent.
Yeah.
In order to save money, they might actually set precedent.
Yeah, huh?
Or maybe there already is a precedent that they're building on. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah.
what the hell? What? That kills me.
Yeah,
That seems like really short-sighted for their movement. That they'd want to even participate in that argument.
When it comes down to a case like this, money is pretty potent stuff.
Wow. Catholics, don't do that. Well, do that.
We'll see.
Just be consistent. That's all I ask of the Catholics. That's all I want is consistency.
Yeah.
Wow.
I almost have no comment. It just stands.
It really speaks for itself
on its own. It's just like, okay. Guess that's where you stand then.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you, Dan, for just shutting us up.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, this is an interesting story that comes to us from France. Excuse me. Twitter, according to a court decision in France, of course, Twitter must identify racist, anti-Semitic posters now in that country. And this is sort of based in the fact that they have a lot of restrictions on speech.
Right.
in their so that you can't, hate speech is not allowed.
Right.
And so there's the Union of Jewish Students. It's a French advocacy group. Has put pressure onto Twitter. They didn't really respond, and so they took them to court. And they want the identifying information so that they can be pursued legally.
Right. Here's the thing, though. I mean, I know that Twitter will have these people's some of their information, but it's pretty easy to create a Twitter account and not really put your real information in.
I think the important thing is they have IP addresses.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and that's, I mean, there are ways to track people down.
So the lesson that you should learn if you're in France is, if you're going to use a Twitter account, do it from a public.
Yeah.
If you're going to use a Twitter account for hate speech,
and have a fake, have all your information be falsified.
Right.
I mean, all that would happen is Twitter would probably take down your account,
suspend
your account, and that kind of stuff.
Of course.
But nonetheless, I mean, from the United States perspective, it seems kind of
odd.
Yeah,
we're allowed to hate people in this country.
Well, and we're allowed to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're allowed to hate in France. They just can't say that they do.
Oh, they're good at hating in France. You're just not allowed to say anti-Semitic things.
What is interesting, of course, is that the court decision, actually has inspired a rash of new anti-Semitic messages.
Of course it has. Of course it has.
And so it's just, I mean, I really think that the power of free speech is that it usually, okay, so a group like Frank Phelps group, where they go around, they picket at the funerals, the Westboro Baptist people.
Yeah.
They
Fred Phelps, sorry.
They'll picket at funerals of military, and they famously picketed, like Matthew Shepard's funeral and that kind of stuff. The power of just letting those groups go is that they just keep looking fringe. They just sort of, they just keep doing their thing, but they're totally on the fringe. We can talk about it. We can solidify our opinions against them. People can do things like, they'll have the angel groups that will create little human corridors to block,
right?
And so there's a way to respond. There's a way to respond in a positive way. And I mean, I know that there's a history in Europe that has led them to limit things like, hate speech.
Right.
But it's really kind of, it's a little bizarre to me.
Yeah.
I think it's about just letting it happen. Letting it go out there and facing it.
Yeah. And when it goes underground, that's when it really festers and boils.
Kind of scary. Yeah.
Yeah. If you allow it out in the open and you say, "Hey, come on out," and everybody say what you got to say, and then the entire society looks at you and goes, "No, fuck you, that's wrong."
Yeah.
That's the potent message.
Yeah. Rather than just using.
But
the
yeah, I
power
mean,
of-
you get these like these groups. You know, you get your KKK or your some fringe crazy neo-Nazi group up in Idaho or something, and the longer they stay quiet and amongst themselves, the more it builds, the more it bubbles, the more it broils until they go and do something.
Right. Well, and then you have a collection of the true fanatics,
Right.
the true crazies, because those are the people who are willing to truly go underground. If it stays out in the open, I would think that like that concentration of crazy just wouldn't happen. You'd have your more casual people mixing who would never cross certain lines, I would hope, mixing with, with the real fanatics. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't want to far be it for me to criticize the French on anything.
I don't see how anyone could criticize the French.
No, of course not. But yeah, it is really interesting.
Yeah, whatever. There's no right.
There's no
society.
right. Yeah, you're right. But
there are some distinctly wrong ways to do society.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, anyways, the best part about this story is that I did spare everybody my bad French pronunciation of the hashtags that they're using.
Wait a minute. I need to know these. What are they?
Un bon juif, a good Jew. That's hashtag un bon juif. And then there's hashtag si mon fils est gay. Because there's if my son is gay is another one that's being used.
Oh.
And that they were bringing up is, whatever. And hashtag si mon fils ramène un noir. If my daughter brings home a black guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are bad. I mean, this is real hate speech. Right?
Yeah.
There's no denying that. It's sticks and stones, though,
Yeah. Twitter, I'm going to start trolling Twitter for hate. And just learn what hate is out there in the world.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, we do live in a weird little bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do. We create these little spheres where we have people that we socialize with who basically have very similar or compatible worldviews. We don't go outside of our bubbles. We don't actually confront. And so sometimes I know I probably come off incredibly naive about some of these things.
Maybe. I don't, it's not like we're, we read the paper, we figuratively, the online paper, we stay up on our news.
Yeah.
But man, you just don't encounter truly hateful people. And truly hateful people, if we do meet them, they're not going to spill the beans to us.
Right. Well, and the times that I have seen truly hateful people, they're caricatures of hateful. They're the people who stand outside of gay pride. Right. With their little signs and spew the most ridiculous stuff imaginable, which I'm imagining that a lot of these tweets are probably analogous to those comments, that they're totally not even closely like, of course they're not accurate. Of course they're not, looking for honesty in their criticism of the Jewish community. Right. or of the gay community or of,
they're looking for what they see as honesty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on some level they probably believe that they're being honest. A lot of them are probably just trollers, though.
Yeah.
They're just out there just making comments just to get a rise out of people.
Yeah. Well, if you want to troll us, make a comment and get a rise out of us, there are ways to do that.
Oh?
Yeah, our listeners, they can do this.
Oh, hey, yeah.
They could call us.
They can call us at 80 no, not 801.
No?
No, they can call us at 424-666-8442.
Yeah, and leave a voicemail. Or you can email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/TGIAtheist and like us.
Yeah.
And also, people can leave reviews on the iTunes.
Yeah, we're learning about how iTunes works now.
Yeah.
And apparently you have to
we think we are.
Yeah, apparently in order for us to be to show up on people's searches and stuff, you guys have to all get out there and keep reviewing us and keep giving us, our stars and
Well, I mean,
whatever.
I think if you've already reviewed us, that's great.
That's all you get.
But you don't have to
You get one
keep going back.
You get one chance at it, but
Right.
but those of you who haven't, apparently it helps us out a lot if you go ahead and do that.
It helps other people find us because it's showing activity
Right.
about us on iTunes, and I mean, who knows
It's
how
a
these
pain in the butt.
little
I don't want
algorithms
to have
work.
to put pressure on our listeners to go and review us,
No, I know.
but it's nice. If you do it, it's really nice.
Yeah,
So
and
we
do
appreciate it.
appreciate it, of course.
Indeed.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to listen in on, where is it? Oh, this guy, Matt Barber. And I didn't really know who he was when I came across this video.
Yeah.
So I looked him up, and he is something of a conservative Christian badass.
Boxer.
He's like an undefeated heavyweight boxer. He was a police officer. He was in the National Guard. He has a law degree from a uber Christian university, so forth and so on. But anyways, so he's like the best and the brightest,
I guess.
of what they have.
And he's punchy.
And
He punches people.
he could punt. He could just lay flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, here's what he has to say about. Well, let's just listen. It's good. It's self-explanatory.
All right.
Yeah, I've been talking with a person one time who was saying that we needed more funding to find a cure for AIDS. I asked this person if they were pro-choice, pro-abortion. They said absolutely. I said, well, there's probably a really good chance that whoever it was that was going to find the cure for AIDS, that you and those who support the killing of the unborn child, that person has already been slaughtered in the womb.
Oh my
There's
God.
a good chance.
There's a really good chance. Because we abort. You know what? The problem is that abortions usually happen to the people that we're going to save everybody.
Yes. Yeah. That's true.
That's how Satan works.
Yeah.
He's so clever that
He's
he makes
really, really,
he makes
really
people
clever.
abort the best and the brightest of
Yeah.
the fetuses.
Yeah. Never the bad ones.
No,
Never the Hitlers.
that was
Right.
We were talking about this, and I was pointing out to Frank that the anti-abortion groups, for a while there was this campaign of like, they'd present this scenario where it was like, a young mother who is single and doesn't have any money, and she's living on the street, and she gets pregnant, and she's a prostitute, and should she abort that baby because she can't take care of it? And if you said yes, congratulations, you just killed Einstein. Or whatever. They just come up with some celebrity that is supposed to be universally good and
Right.
Blah
Right.
blah blah.
The Dalai Lama.
Right? Yeah. You just you just killed somebody, Winston Churchill. Congratulations.
He didn't.
Right. No.
Yeah, I doubt his description.
No.
His American heiress mother and
Right.
yeah.
But what's funny is that you never hear about like, you just. Would you abort this baby? No? Well, you just saved Hitler. Congratulations. Hope you're happy with yourself. If that had been aborted, millions of Jews would be alive today.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
You never hear that one.
No, you never hear it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
well, it is a shame
It is.
how much innovation and technology we are missing out on because of all them aborted babies.
Yeah. I know. I mean, you just never know. You never know what a child could do.
We could have our first, I don't know, black Asian woman president. Just
Lesbian.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's
so fucking amazing. She's so amazing.
She would
this
have
woman.
united the country.
Absolutely. Everybody, and she's an evangelical.
She would have brought peace to the Middle East.
She's a liberal evangelical lesbian.
No, she's a centrist. She brings everyone together.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going for all the extreme groups, or not extreme groups, but all sort of very marginalized groups, or extreme,
Right.
mixed together.
I was
in
just,
one.
yeah. Who knows?
Just a complete contradiction of a human being.
Right. And we aborted her,
It's really sad.
societally speaking.
We
the royal we. No,
it's not that.
Not that at all. Anyways,
Definitely not that.
some of our listeners have written into us, and we should answer them.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
probably complaining about conversations just like this one. Well, which one do you have? Dan?
I got Jason. Jason wrote in from Panama. We've heard from Jason a bit.
Yeah.
And we always
Hi, Jason.
appreciate hearing from him. He says this time, back in college, he says, I heard a few buddies of mine studying in the biochemistry department that under the influence of certain psychotropic substances, mushrooms, acid, and the like, they have felt a religious experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember one of you mentioned an experience with mushrooms sometime on an episode about Burning Man. What do you both think of that? Seems to me to show that certain parts of our brain can be fiddled with to make us feel a divine connection to something. Perhaps then, under certain social stimuli, church services, or one-on-one situations, meditation, we are able to alter these sections of our brain too. I don't mean to equate prayer to a drug trip, but it seems to me that that historically, drugs have been used as a manner to connect with the spirit and the gods. I know that within my own community in Panama, the Ngabe people. Why is there an umlaut over that A? I don't know how to pronounce.
Interesting.
Anyway, the Ngabe people drink cacao to rid themselves of demons. All sorts of plants and animals have been used in the past and presently for the purpose of spiritual exploration.
Mm-hmm.
What are your opinions on that? Is it a load of waffle, he says? Is there something to it, or is it something in between?
Huh.
That's a great question.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I've experienced some crazy.
We don't
shit.
we don't admit to any illegal activities.
No, but I've experienced crazy shit.
Yes.
That's as far as I'm willing.
Oh, what
to
the
go.
hell? I admit to it. I've totally done mushrooms. The thing is, and I've done other psychotropic drugs as well. Including the one that is said most to make you see the spirit world.
Ooh, what'd you see, Dan?
A lot of geometric forms. And some. I mean, the thing is, here's the deal. I have a friend who really believes this. Really believes that the psychotropic drugs take him to a place that is a different sphere, a different realm, and he really believes that he connects with something beyond this realm when it happens. And he. I mean, he does ayahuasca ceremonies with shamans.
Oh, my.
And it's important to him.
Right.
I think it's brain chemistry.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you experience something, and I think Jason's absolutely right. You fuck around with brain chemistry, and you're going to have weird experiences.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, people naturally who have obvious brain chemistry issues, you know, all on their own hear voices and have experiences that are, and they may not necessarily be brain chemistry per se, but just brain issues that cause their brain to work differently. They perceive angels and hear voices and or demons or whatever.
It's temporal lobe epilepsy.
Yeah, exactly.
Temporal lobe epilepsy causes people to believe to feel like they've connected to angels, to feel like they've talked to God, all sorts of things. And even people who know that they have temporal lobe epilepsy and know that people who have have these experiences still believe that they've got this connection to something.
Right, exactly.
I get it. I mean, it's in your brain when you experience
There's nothing
something
else for you to experience.
Right. When you experience
There's no other
something,
level of perception that could possibly happen. Yeah.
Right. So it is your experience. You really did experience something.
Absolutely.
But what is that something? Is that something a connection to another realm? Or is it your brain made something up because you put a bunch of chemicals in it?
Right.
Having experienced it, having, tried some stuff, there's nothing in it that would lead me to believe that I actually experienced something otherworldly or realmly, or that there were beings from another dimension that I encountered. That seems so silly to me.
Yeah.
Well, people believe it, people buy it.
Yeah.
And I think that Jason's right to connect it to spiritual experiences that we have on a more toned down scale in the theater of a church or in, because I mean,
you can get yourself all worked up.
Oh, you get yourself wildly worked up, and I
remember getting myself worked up at EFY.
Oh yeah, especially for youth, it's a Mormon-y thing.
Yeah, yep. So anyways, I was just saying, I remember.
Yeah, I totally
got myself worked up. I was like, "Why? What's wrong with me? I'm not really feeling anything."
Yeah,
and then I sat there and I was like, "Well, let me think about it for a minute." And then I thought about it for a minute, and all the kids around me are just crying. And all of a sudden, I was crying too.
Yeah,
this is what the spirit feels like.
Right. And
it's like
music starts to play.
Crying.
Well, and you're a teenager, so you've got hormones coursing through you, and you've got your emotional anyway. It's you get enough people, you get a group mentality thing going.
Yeah,
and you get enough you get music, and then you get sort of chants of things happening or whatever, and people start to feel things. Yeah there you go. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, thanks. All right, I've got one from Valia, who writes about she says, first of all, thanks for telling us about your experiences leaving Mormonism. In one aspect, it is the complete antithesis to leaving Catholicism. Specifically, you can't. Seriously, I've tried. So anyways, she recounts writing a letter to the bishop of the diocese where she had been baptized, identifying herself as an apostate and an atheist, and detailing all the reasons why she is not a Catholic. She says that she went point by point through the Nicene Creed, which is the definitive statement of faith for all members of the church, explaining how there's not a single element of the creed with which I agree.
Right.
And she says, my arguments were exhaustive. And she expressed a wish for to complete a formal act of defection, an actus formalis defectionis ab Ecclesia Catholica, okay, and cited specific canons and notations within the Church's Code of Canon Law and the Pontifical Council for Legislative Texts, basically to say that she did her homework.
Right.
She knew the right way to phrase this for the Catholic hierarchy to say, I'm not Catholic.
Right.
Right. In response, she received a letter. She says, I received a letter from a functionary in that diocese that said, basically, we got your letter. No acknowledgement, no response to anything I had written. Request denied or ignored, apparently. It seems that there is no way out, not even when following and satisfying their legal procedures.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that struck me when I was reading that, is that, Valia, you were following their procedures.
Yes.
You need to follow legal procedures.
Right.
And in fact, I want to refer you to a website, which is it's for Mormons getting out of the church, the LDS Church, because they base it in legal terms,
right, by U.S. law,
not Catholic canon law,
right.
They have this all figured out, and getting out of the Mormon Church is really easy, actually, at this point. Well, fairly easy, because
they'll give you trouble.
They sometimes will try.
Right.
Mine was just. It was a piece of cake.
Yeah, mine was too.
It really was really simple. I used the form letter that's on. Excuse me.
Sorry, guys. If we're coughing a lot, we live in the city with the worst air in the country.
Yeah,
right now
it's awful.
During January is a bad month for us, so we're just clearing our lungs. Yeah,
it's just all the muck and gunk that's the PM 2.5 that's up in the air.
Yeah.
So. But anyways, exmormon.org /remove. I think we'll get you there. Let me just double check that.
It's a really handy site.
They didn't do a very good job. It's /remove HTML .html, and I think that, or HTM might get you there. There we go. So it's exmormon.org/remove.htm.
Right.
And if you go there, this is, I mean, it is very, very specific about the Mormon Church, but the legal process and some of the things that they point out about your right to affiliate with an organization also means that you can disaffiliate at any point.
The fact is that when you sent that letter, legally, they are under obligation to remove you.
Yeah.
However, if they didn't do it, what you should do probably is just send another letter that just says, I know my legal rights.
Yeah.
Remove me and send me and don't put any other arguments in it. Just make it as simple and clear as it can be.
Because don't submit yourself to their authority.
Right.
That's what you, by using Catholic canon law, that's what you were doing, is you were acknowledging their authority to determine what they were going to do with you.
Right.
And you don't want to do that.
They don't
you
have
want
that
to
authority.
Instead, cite legal authority.
Yeah.
Get their attention with legal terms.
Yeah.
It might go a little bit better for you.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, I'd be
interested to hear how that goes. But yeah, I mean, just learn your rights and then assert them forcefully.
And don't go through their process.
Yeah, don't mess with
Because
that.
the Mormons, what they'll try to do, the bishop will try to call you in. They'll try to do a court. Like,
they'll
if
do
you
a
let
whole
them,
thing. Yeah,
they have this whole production.
Yeah,
they'll
they want to do
run you through
a church court, and they want to sit you down in front of three men in suits and and grill you. And they did send me the only thing that I did get a call from the bishop, and the bishop said, basically just said, "Are you this person? Yes. Are you? And you want to leave? Yes. Why do you want to leave?" I told him. He said, "Okay," and that was it.
Yeah.
I think if I had sounded like I was hesitating, well, I don't know if it, my feelings were hurt by X or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It would have been court time.
Yeah.
It would have been, but they did send me a brochure that said, they sent me a form letter that said, we're going to give you 30 days to think about it.
Yeah.
And the brochure that said, if you do this, all of the blessings that we've given you are canceled. Just done.
Because there were so many wonderful blessings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was terrified.
Yeah.
But I went through with it anyway. And now I don't have any blessings.
Yeah.
It's awful. We also got an email from Klaus in Germany.
Oh, hi, Klaus.
Guten Tag, Klaus.
Ach ja.
Und danke für deine email. What's German for email? I don't know.
I don't know. That's probably, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, he says he's enjoying the show. He says it's a breath of fresh air from his living environment where everyone is a Protestant. So he says importantly his family is Protestant. He says he's listened to us speaking about our separation from the Mormon Church. What tips would we give him to help break the news that he is agnostic and leaving the church? They will know that he's leaving because he's going to remove himself from paying the church tax.
Ah, that's right. They do that then.
Yeah, if you're a member of the church, you don't pay tithing. You get taxed by the government.
Yeah, you can have it withheld automatically,
right,
from your paycheck.
So he's now opting out of church tax.
Wow!
Which, congratulations, way to get a raise. I love that.
More people should come to that realization.
Yeah, you become one of us. You get more money.
Yeah,
you get to keep your money.
Yeah.
I don't know, tips and tricks for breaking it to the family. Every family's different.
Yeah.
This is a tricky thing because there's no universal easy way to do this.
Yeah. I would say, and this is just from my own personal experience, do not also come out of the closet at the same time. Don't one fell swoop, don't destroy any hope that they have.
You don't think? You think ease them in?
Like, tear off the Band-Aid?
Yeah.
It's like, here I am!
Yeah, exactly. It does seem like if you're going to hit them with one blow, you might as well hit them with all the blows at the same time.
Do what you will. Combine whatever else you want to into it. No.
I mean, we get that it's so hard.
It's hard. Every family, you're right. Every family's different.
This is one of those things where what you need. I do recommend people come out. I do recommend that, and
only you know your personal situation,
right? And the reason that I recommend coming out is there's a lot of facets to it. I think that for other atheists, it's good for all of us to be out. It's good that people can see that we're there.
Absolutely.
And agnostics. We can argue about what those words mean.
Well, yes.
But here's the deal. The other reason that I want people to come out is because I believe that there's value in living authentically with the people that you love.
Right.
And being able to say who you are and what you're about, not in a way that's about denigrating anyone else, but in a way that's about, this is who I am, and I want to share myself with you, and I want you to share yourself with me.
Right. And both of those are really good reasons as to why. It sounds like he's already figured out the why.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but beyond that, where do we go? We don't know his situation.
Well, I think that I think that there can be some really good basic advice, which is you have to be sensitive to sort of, I think you actually touched upon something there, being sensitive to their beliefs, right? Making sure that you're not coming off as judgmental. Affirming your humanity, I think, is really important. Saying that you've found or already had good moral and ethical compasses that lead your life,
right? And
that those don't need to come from any kind of religious authority.
I think it might not hurt. I also think that it's a good idea for you to express your feelings about that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really scared to tell you this because I'm worried about how you're going to treat me. Yeah. But I respect you enough that I want to tell you. I think if you can make it clear that this isn't easy for you either.
Yeah.
And then also be open to what it means to them and and hear their concerns and
be willing to answer questions, be very open.
Yeah.
And honest.
I think the more honest you can be, including saying things like "this scares me" or I don't want to lose you guys, and I'm worried that this might.
Well, unless you do.
Well, yeah, I mean, but at that point, you're not that worried about it. You're not scared.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking. Yeah, Klaus, that's what my advice would be.
That's as good as it gets from us. We're not therapists.
Yeah.
But be gentle, but also know yourself.
Yeah.
Go in strong.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to worry about you. You got you covered.
Right.
Go and help them through this process
and enjoy that big chunk of money you're going to save every month.
Yeah. And if you're looking for something to do with that big chunk of money, just a segue.
Yeah, no, it's a great segue, and I know exactly where you're going. Proceed.
We those of you who used to pay a tithe can now use some of that money to support our little show.
Yeah, not a tithe.
No,
we don't tithe. We don't want. No.
We don't need 10% of your income.
No. This is a bargain, people. What we're offering you is a real, sincere bargain.
Yeah. Just go to thankgodimatheist.com, click on support.
Yeah.
And you can give us a donation.
Yeah. It's easy.
Helps us pay for all of our expenses.
Yeah.
And bring you this silly little thing that we do every week.
All right. And then we have one more piece of correspondence, and then we have to get moving along. We have a voicemail from Sam, so let's just go ahead and play this.
Okay.
Hey, guys. It's Sam from Ohio. And I was just wondering, I had a question about your favorite group of people, the Mormons. So, according to Mormon theology, and correct me if I'm wrong, because the only theology of theirs that I know of is from your show, the ancient Israelites are what we now know as the Native Americans, correct? So how does the LDS Church feel about, if you even know, if they've even taken a stance on it, about how we've, kind of slaughtered them, not to get all hippie and stuff on you, not that being hippie is bad, like hippies, but yeah. Because, when we kind of came here, we took their land, and the pioneers and such kind of killed a bunch of them, and that was not very good, not a good part of American history. So just wonder if you guys had any information on that topic. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Sam.
Thanks a lot. And an interesting question.
Yeah, an interesting question. And I don't think anybody kind of killed anyone. I think there was some.
They did some serious killing.
There was some serious killing.
The Mormons are an interesting group, though, because when it comes to the Native Americans, the First Nations of our land,
If you're going to use the Canadian
phrasing,
yes,
sure. Yes, the Mormons believe that they are the descendants of the bad. In fairness, the bad tribe,
right? The Lamanites,
the Lamanites of the Book of Mormon,
yeah. And you will still hear Mormons today use the term Lamanite to describe their Native American brothers and sisters in the faith.
But they have an interesting history with American Indians, the Mormons, including a lot of good associations when they first went west. When the Mormons first went west, they developed some alliances really with some Native American tribes,
right?
Which then led to some
alliances.
Yes, there was some fighting,
you know, and they also dressed up as some Native Americans.
Oh, sure.
During the Mountain Meadows massacre.
But there were also actual Native Americans that joined them in Mountain Meadows. You don't.
I don't know the whole story. I just know about the ones that were dressing up.
They well, so the Mountain Meadows massacre. Well,
anyways, let's not even delve into Mountain Meadows. That's a whole big ball of no, we don't need to get there.
Yeah.
But the point is, there is a troubled history in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
Largely also for the adoption program.
Yeah, we should quickly get into that, which
Yeah.
was just that. I mean, and then this wasn't just Mormons. This was a thing that was happening all over the country.
Right. There was an assimilation program that the
right.
government was pushing,
and the Mormons were
more than happy,
really hip to that jive.
Yeah.
So a
lot of Native kids were adopted into Mormon families.
Right. They would remove them from their Native American families.
Yeah.
And raise them up as good white kids in white kid school and going to church and
Yeah. Including my ex-brother-in-law.
That's right.
So
you got ex-family in that category.
But I mean, of course, in his adult life, he's gone back to the tribe and he's tried to reclaim his native status. And,
sure.
Well, not reclaim status, but
just
kind of
get back
into his roots.
Sure.
Because that's a traumatic thing. People have a real connection to those kind of ethnic communities, first of all, but also he was not a tiny little kid when he was adopted out. He remembered living with his mother on the reservation and ended up, and he went into, what is it? He became a police officer on the reservation.
Oh, great.
So he went back and
did
that
him.
kind of stuff.
But
anyways, nonetheless, Mormons are funny with the Native Americans. Yeah. I think it's a complicated history, and I don't know that we can really go too much into it.
Yeah. I mean, Mormons' entire religion is based on a story about American Indians.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's complex.
Yeah.
It's complex.
Lamanites.
Anyway.
And, yeah.
So moving on.
Moving right along.
Thank you, Sam, again for that.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to another weird thing.
Was that a good response?
I don't know. I mean, what the hell do we know? We didn't research it out. We're just going off of the things that we're remembering.
That's what we are offering you, people.
That's all. Sam,
just whatever.
Sam,
what?
you have the internet. Go ahead and look it up if you want. If you want more.
Google. Just Google. I don't know.
But no, I mean, it's not like the Mormons talk about. Here's one interesting thing. When you're raised Mormon as a child, you sing this song called Book of Mormon Stories.
It has all these,
and it's basically it's got
this rhythm.
This rhythm that is, yeah. It's trying to be. I mean, if you've ever been to like an Indian powwow sort of thing, you hear this drum beat, this wum bum 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 problem.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the stereotypical thing.
Right.
And then the Mormons wrote this little kid song that plays on that. Book of Mormon stories that
Well, and
our
it's got
teacher
hand
tells to
gestures.
me.
We're like all about the Lamanites.
Oh, that's right.
And
And
they
you
put
do
their-
you
put
do
a
the
little
two
two-finger
fingers
feather behind your
behind your
And you
head.
put your hand out in front of you as to like say how.
How?
Right. And you're da, 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 da.
I loved that song when I was
Oh,
growing
it's
up.
so much fun.
It was so much fun.
But
Of course, we
in
didn't-
retrospect,
Now we realize that
Probably
there's
not the
there's
best
a racist undercurrent there,
song.
but oh well. Oh well. We enjoyed it.
oh, racism.
All right. Moving along to speaking of weird, we're gonna go to the Scientologists
Yes.
today.
Fairly briefly, like I said at the open,
Oh, it's just such a can of worms.
it is a huge can of worms, and we are not experts on this. But it was
But
really
we've done some
fun
research here.
to look into it this last week,
Yeah.
and to kind of spend a little bit of time trying to figure out, like, well, what do we have to be really all that freaked out about, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
we were talking just last night about potentially even going to like do one of their
Personality
it's a
test.
personality test that
Yeah.
they do, right? And I was sitting there and I was just like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this creepy, crawly weirdness thing, because they use a lot of brainwashing tactics, and I don't think I would like fall prey to it,
Right.
but just to subject yourself to their methods, it just feels like
Yeah,
it's
but
a
you have
weird
to be
thing to
you have
do.
to you have to make it past that. We wouldn't get to the point where they would be there.
No, that's true. I mean, they would just be doing some silly, hokey little thing, but
Yeah.
um,
It's like Myers-Briggs, only it's like the entrance exam for their spirituality.
right. So, anyways, what kind of things did you want to talk about with?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Scientology?
so I wanted to start. What launched me into this idea was that there is now a lawsuit being filed in California against Scientology, and this I was going to use this as just a story as a follow up on a story that you did. Was it last week?
yeah,
And this lawsuit alleges that the Church of Scientology took quite a bit of money from a guy named Luis Garcia
mm-hmm.
and his wife, and they and it was earmarked for specific things. So the Church of Scientology said, "Hey, we're building this thing in Florida. It's a giant church, and we need a lot of money to build it." And Garcia kept giving them money for that thing, and it kept not getting built.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're alleging that they've realized that they're purposefully not building it.
Well, this is what the article that I brought up last week was talking about,
Right.
but like up in Seattle and other
Right.
places.
They're purposefully
So-
leaving it unfinished, and so that they can go to everybody, so that they can go to other people and say we still don't have enough money to finish this thing,
Right.
and they have plenty of money to finish it, but they're not doing it.
Right.
He, for instance,
Well, they have plenty of money as long as they're going to use that money raised for the construction, and that's
Right.
sort of the allegation is that they're not
They're keeping it.
right. So they end up,
The higher ups are pocketing the money.
yeah,
And there was also allegations of them sending out people and making phony claims about doing charity work.
What?
And creating phony videos of them doing charity work and like hiring people to play victims of natural.
Why not just like take 5 people
I know.
to an actual disaster and just inflate what it is that you did? Just make
Yeah.
it look like you did a lot more than you did.
They're alleging.
So they're not even like, they're going to more effort in a lot of ways
Yeah.
to forge.
Yeah, but they get to keep more
Assistance.
money if they do that. If they do it that way, I think.
They don't have, oh,
Because they don't have to do anything.
right.
But yeah, so that's what they're alleging. I don't know how much of it's true. They claim to have interviewed lots of people who were intimately involved in all of it.
Oh my goodness.
And they expect this to become a class action suit. They expect more
for
people
other
to
people to join in.
join in on the suit.
Wow. Huh.
So I thought, you know what? Those are some serious charges.
Yeah.
We should look into what is this thing called Scientology?
Well, and the other thing that I think is really interesting is is to think about it as a religious movement, right? And to say, because
that's not how it started.
No, it's not. But in fact, turning it into a religion was kind of, it seems to have been a solution to a problem that they were running into with like taxes and whatnot. But anyways, but to consider it as a religious movement, and to consider it as a religious movement in the 20th century, and because one of the problems that this, just tying it into Mormonism, one of the problems that Mormonism obviously has is that it's been rising up in a modern era. And so the changes that have taken place, some of the indiscretions of Joseph Smith, they're a lot harder to hide than sort of any other groups rise, right? Like the rise of Christianity, what did it really look like? Well, nobody really knows.
Sure.
Right. It's mired in history and different accounts of history and whatnot.
Right.
And so, but to have something that started in 1953, I think is when Scientology officially organized as a religion,
as a church, yeah.
It puts it into full under the microscope of sort of the modern era, and our ability to know what really was happening and to see it and to examine it in a very different way. And so I think it's really interesting to look at on that perspective.
So let's give a little quick history.
Yes.
We start with a guy named Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, but I don't like saying I don't know why people's initials are important. He's just Ron Hubbard. You went by
Frank
Ron.
H. Feldman.
Nobody calls you that.
In fact, I intentionally avoid the H.
Everybody should call me Daniel H.M. Beecher. I got two.
They should.
I've got two of them.
Yeah, they should.
Anyway, so we've got Ron Hubbard, who writes a book called Dianetics. Did you do any?
I looked at Dianetics a little bit. Yeah,
talk about Dianetics.
Well, okay. Dianetics was his.
It's self-help.
It's self-help. Dianetics, I guess one of the hallmarks of it is that they're trying to do sort of kind of pseudotherapy. It's a pseudoscience of kind of fixing your mind, fixing your life through these exercises, which they call audits, right? And it divides the mind into three parts. So you have your analytical mind, you have your reactive mind, and you have your somatic mind. The analytical mind is your consciousness, right? Your subconscious is the reactive, right? And you're trying to, if I remember right, you're trying to suppress the reactive mind.
Right.
You're trying to, and this is all done through these audit sessions where you, I found a transcript of how they work.
It's like a guided thing, right?
Yeah, it's guided. It's always done with two, and you have somebody seated across from you, and you, so you have your auditor and you have your pre-clear. Okay, your pre-clear is the person who's going through the whole thing. This thing is just full of weird terminology, right? To kind of give it this sense that it's this thing that you're doing, and blah.
And the reason that you're called a pre-clear is that once you've audited enough, you become clear. Yes,
exactly. And so anyways, there's this whole thing of like giving up your, they sort of plant this idea that anything that the auditor might unintentionally plant in your mind needs to be canceled during this session. And so the first thing, he says, or the pre-clear is instructed to close his eyes for the session, entering into a state of Dianetic reverie, signaled by a tremble of the lashes. During the session, I'm sorry, I was meant to be reading the next step. The auditor installs a canceller, okay? An instruction intended to absolutely cancel any form of positive suggestion that could accidentally occur. This is done by saying, in the future, when I utter the word canceled, everything I have said to you while you are in a therapy session will be canceled and will have no force with you. Any suggestion I may have made to you will be without force, and I will say the word canceled. Do you understand?
This is hypnosis.
Basically, yeah. They say that it is not hypnosis, but there's all of this sort of suggestions going on. Anyway, so it goes through this sort of question and answer thing, not question and answer, prompt and response, I
right.
guess, more than anything. And so the auditor will ask the pre-clear to say something that happened in their past that they feel comfortably facing, right?
Yeah.
And then they go through this whole little back and forth. Did you see The Master?
No.
Because The Master has a couple of these sessions in it where
It's not specifically supposed to be
it's not
Scientology.
supposed to be Scientology, but now having done a little bit more research into Scientology,
It
I can
totally
tell
is.
you it's absolutely Scientology.
Right.
It's really clear. There's just too much in it.
Did they use e-meters?
No, there wasn't anything like that I recall seeing. But when Joaquin Phoenix is in these sessions with Philip Seymour Hoffman, who's playing sort of the L. Ron Hubbard character, they go through this little prompt and answer, and it seems to be very, very a very primitive form of whatever it's turned into.
Right.
Right. This very set thing, and it seems to be more of a thing that L. Ron Hubbard, well, again, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, is just sort of playing around with at the time that he's
Right.
trying to figure out as well. But it's really, really fascinating to see, like, because again, this whole going through this whole audit process, which takes like 2 hours typically as a typical audit session, the pre-clear will sort of feel this sort of release and this elation at the end of the session. They'll feel very positive and all this like this surge of really positive energy.
Yeah.
And that's something that you see in this movie. Joaquin Phoenix at the end of these sessions is just like, he's just like kind of giddy.
Yeah.
And not that it helps him much,
Right.
of course.
Well,
in the course
well
of the
and here's
film,
the thing, though. There's enough real thrown in with this kooky
Mhm.
to have an effect.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're gonna feel something. You're gonna have if you really submit yourself to this,
Mm-hmm.
something's gonna happen inside of you.
Yeah.
Which to me is you know that would be why people would stick with it.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess, and it's not the only country that's had issues with Scientology, but I guess back in I think it was the 60s, the Australian government made efforts to keep Scientology out. I don't know what officially happened with that, but one of the grounds that they were using is that this is hypnosis and that people are being brainwashed, and this is not a religion.
It is brainwashing.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
mean,
there's no doubt about it.
Although, you know, is it more the question is it sinister? You know what I mean? Like that's what comes up. Are they doing something evil?
No, that's looking at the fruit.
And
Of it.
I don't know. But here's the thing: we know that they have done some really
Well,
questionable stuff.
I again, they're only allegations at the moment, right? But I would say that it is sinister to bilk people out of their money.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
they're using this apparatus, and who knows how long it's been intentionally being used, or how intentionally it's being used, and
Right.
what's even going on in the minds of these people who are doing the bilking. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, they are just sapping people for all the money that they can possibly get out of them.
Well,
when
and
you
they-
hear the sums of money that some of these people have given,
Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
millions.
Yeah,
Like
Here's-
obviously these are people of higher means, but
sure.
still,
Here's the thing.
that's a lot of money to have given to an organization.
Right, especially if they're not using it in the way that you
Right.
have specifically
If
earmarked
they're
it.
using it the way that you've said for it to be used, well, all right, you've sort of entered into an agreement that's being upheld.
Right. But if they're just keeping it,
Yeah,
that sucks.
which it sounds like.
But here's
it
the
might
thing:
be.
back in the 70s,
Mhm.
they did some stuff, and even later, they did some stuff that they were convicted of. That
What?
was really, really sketchy.
Like
stuff.
who? Like Scientologists or Scientology?
The Church of Scientology, they had an operation. They had an office of. They called it the Guardian's Office, which is now called the Office of Special Affairs within their church, which engaged in what they called Operation Snow White.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, here's what they did. They infiltrated several U.S. government agencies. They stole documents like by the hundreds. They stole all sorts of secret information. They were keeping tabs. They had a spy agency.
My God.
Like seriously, they were engaging in. They had transmitters, lockpicks, secret codes, forged credentials. Like they were serious. So, we'll get into. I think we should do.
We should do a two-parter.
We're going to do a
two-parter.
two-parter.
We do need to call it. We need to wrap this one up.
Yeah. So we let us tantalize you with that. There's more
evil about
doing.
Scientology.
There's more evil doing to report on.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
If you guys like this, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
So,
and if any of you have any affiliations or former experience with Scientology, we'd love to hear about it.
we would. Absolutely.
So the way you do that is you contact us by you can email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
You can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442, or you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Yeah.
So thanks for
There
listening.
you go.
Guys.
Well, more to come. Dun, 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 dun. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.